Well, we have a lot of information about the suspect and Christina, unfortunately, the victim. This is a bizarre situation that centers on the sale of a dirt bike on Facebook Marketplace, and it ends in a murder. Let me.
Okay, so how many times this guy obviously doesn't subscribe to my channel? For years, I've been telling you guys, don't buy anything from you know who on Facebook or any of those apps. Oh, any app that's selling something. Any app that's selling things. I don't care if it's a PlayStation controller. There's 1,000 stories of guys being murdered for PlayStation controllers by little, you know who's. We're gonna have to come up with a better name for the element. So put your best names. You have to come up with a substitute name for the element. You know, on YouTube. But you know who. Don't buy nothing from. I don't care. Don't do it. Get you a new one. What's wrong with getting a new one? There's 1,000 stories of people being murdered over PlayStation controllers, games, broad daylight. The perp gets caught 10 minutes later, does a life sentence. You know how many dudes is sitting in the jail doing 30, 40 years because they posted something on they wanted to sell something on one of these apps, or they inquired about buying something on one of these apps, and the whole time it was a setup. And when the person got there, the robbery went bad and the person was killed. And of course, they're caught because of the footprint. Like the police, these are the easiest cases for the police to solve. You know how many guys, brothers, who ain't in jail for marijuana, but they in jail because of that?
Suspect and Christina, unfortunately, the victim. This is a bizarre situation that centers on the sale of a dirt bike on Facebook Marketplace, and it ends in a murder. Let me walk you through how cops say everything went down. They say a 29-year-old man from New Orleans, Joseph Findell, tried to sell a dirt bike on Facebook Marketplace yesterday. It happened in broad daylight. He came over to the West Bank to a Harvey apartment complex to meet a man, according to cops, named Jalen Harvey. According to JPSO, something went bad and Harvey allegedly shot the victim here, Vindell. He then stole his car, drove it back over to the East Bank, according to JPSO, and dumped it uptown in the Garden District in the 2300 block of Coliseum Street. Police then started backtracking everything. They found the vehicle, they found the deceased inside, and then they went and they used the electronic footprint. They found Jalen Harvey at the apartment complex where he lives early this morning. They tell us the stolen dirt bike was inside, the alleged murder weapon was inside, and according to JPSO Sheriff Joe Lapinto, the suspect here, Jalen Harvey, has given a full confession to the crime.
The murder weapon's inside, the stolen item is inside his house, and he confessed. Well, of course he confessed. If the gun's there and the stolen item's there, and definitely the cell phone he used to, lure the guy to his... I don't know what this guy was thinking. I have no idea what this guy... This was an upstanding guy, a high-value guy, high-value man. I don't know what he's thinking going to the projects, test some dirt bike to some... you-know-who.
The stolen dirt bike was inside, the alleged murder weapon was inside, and according to JPSO Sheriff Joe Lapinto, the suspect here, Jalen Harvey, has given a full confession to the crime, although he has not given them why he allegedly did something like this. Now, Joseph Findell is a well-known real estate agent here in New Orleans. A lot of people knew him. Just a few moments ago, we caught up with one of his co-workers at his real estate firm. Here's what they had to tell us about the situation.
He was really just an amazing guy. I mean, so vivacious, so full of life, and, he had everything it took to make a great career in real estate, and just such a strong, shining beginning, and this is just a complete tragedy.
Coming up all new at 4 and 5, we'll hear from Sheriff Joe Lopinto. Also, we should mention that Jalen Harvey is charged with first-degree murder.
Okay, guys, make sure you hit that like button when you come in. Make sure you share these videos on your Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't. And most importantly, take that $5 challenge via PayPal or via the Cash App. And if you're watching this as Premiere, take the challenge via the Super Chat as well. Okay, so this is our buddy Joseph Vindell. Let me just tell you something, man. I know this is the type of guy that was marching and protesting and talking about defund the police. And it's hard to feel sorry for these guys when you know they were out there doing that. You know his social media profile is full of woke gibberish and just, you know, systematic this and defund that crap. But it's hard to feel sorry for these guys. But I just want to let you guys know that when you go into the projects or apartment complex to sell a brother something and you look like this, even if the brother wasn't going to rob you, when you show up looking like this, he's going to rob you. Okay? He's like, oh, shit, we got one. Especially if he was his boys. He's like, that's the dude? Oh. Like, you're like food. You're like a mark. You're food. Like your food on a plate. I just shocked that this guy went into the hood to sell a dirt bike. Like a dirt bike is very valuable. Like if you see the guys in all these cities, they ride the dirt bikes up and down the street, sometimes 100, 200 deep. You know, it's a very valuable piece of machinery. And they rob each other over them all the time. But I mean, like you showing up in the project to sell, are you kidding me? What was this guy thinking? Where were his friends to be like, you about to do what? You obviously don't got a wife. You can just tell this guy's not married. If he told his wife, yeah, I'm about to go to the project. Some brother wants to buy the dirt bike. I'm gonna go to the projects and sell it to him. He ain't got no wife. So young single guy, whole life ahead of him. God, dog, man. Whew.
A man known for his outgoing personality was trying to sell his dirt bike through Facebook Marketplace, but Joseph Vindell ended up dead, found shot to death in his own vehicle. Serves as another warning for anyone trying to sell something on a Marketplace app. Erica Ferrando has the details.
Police found Joseph Vindell's body inside his car here along Coliseum Street around 5 o'clock Monday morning. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office says Vindell was murdered by 20-year-old Jalen Harvey. Vindell was trying to sell a dirt bike on Facebook for about $2,800, and according to Sheriff Joe Lopinto, he drove the bike to an apartment complex on Manhattan Boulevard in Harvey around 10 a.m. Sunday to sell it to Harvey. Sheriff Lopinto said Harvey admitted to shooting and killing Vindell. Police say Harvey then drove Vindell's car to New Orleans and abandoned it with Vindell's body inside along Coliseum Street. Messages between the two led police to the apartment in Harvey where they found the dirt bike and Harvey early Monday morning. Harvey was arrested for first-degree murder. The big question, why? Detectives are still trying to figure that out.
I don't care what it is. I mean, look, it's a $2,800 dirt bike. It's not anything that anybody should be shot over. So the fact of it is you know, I'm you know, that's going to be his words that he's going to have to, you know, justify later on.
Vindell was 29 years old and excited about a new career as a realtor. His father said he was known for his outgoing personality and great sense of humor. He said he was loved by everyone and did not deserve this. In New Orleans, Erica Ferrando, Eyewitness News.
Many local sheriff's offices and police departments added areas for people to exchange goods, so calling them is a good place to start if you're looking for a safe location to sell or buy something. In some cases, those are in the parking lots of the police station with security cameras rolling. Facebook warns not to share personal information like your home address. Tell someone else the exact location where you're planning to meet, and consider bringing another adult with you if you can.
Okay, guys, make sure you hit that like button when you come in. Make sure you share these videos on your Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't, And most importantly, take that $5 challenge via PayPal or via the Cash App. And if you're watching this as Premier, take the challenge via the Super Chat as well. Let's get into it.
A crime alert at 11 and shocking new video. A woman ambushed outside a local gas station. The suspect's shoving a gun in her face.
Tonight, the victim is opening up to CBS 46. Jamie Kennedy is live tonight at the Chevron in Southwest Atlanta. And Jamie, certainly this was frightening for that young woman.
Yeah, absolutely, Tracy. A very, very scary moment for this young lady. Over here at the Chevron behind me, you can see just how bright it is, yet that still didn't stop these violent attackers. It's video of a shocking attack
I honestly thought every second was the last.
that has deeply scarred 23-year-old victim Janae Askew.
Sometimes my skin just feels like there's always a gun pointing at me. Like, it's been hard.
Surveillance video caught the moment attackers waited for Janae, setting an ambush while she was inside a
You see those guys crouched down on the side of her car. They're crouched down. She can't see them. She thinks she went in the Chevron. She thinks she's going to come back out and just hop in her little car with her little woke self. Her little disenfranchised, underprivileged, fighting for her rights self. Because you know she was all online with the whole wokety woke gibberish all this whole last year about how we got to protect our kings and it's wrong what's happening to them and Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland and this the biggest problem that sisters got to deal with is the cops and they killing our brothers everywhere. Just look at them. They're crouched down. Like, they're on camera. They don't care if they... What if another car pulls up? They don't care. They just crouch down behind her car in a well-lit gas station. Cameras everywhere. Crouched down behind her car waiting for her to get back from out of the store. This is the type of stuff that sisters don't be understanding. Like, you thinking that you just out here and worrying about the cops and the police is seeing police and they killing her. I'm not going to call the police on a brother because if the police come, they're putting a brother in risk. How many of y'all heard that black woman tell me, we can't call the police when we get domestic situations because, even though it's a lie, but they still say that. They get online and say this. I've had the police called on me countless times, okay, but look. They get online and perpetuate this myth. We can't call the police because if we call the police, we putting our partner at risk.
It's been hard.
Surveillance video caught the moment attackers waited for Janae, setting an ambush while she was inside a Chevron gas station.
I come back out. I unlock my door. I get in the driver's side. When I saw the gun, that's when everything hit me. And every second I thought I was going to get shot. Every second I thought it was going to be the last. That's honestly how it felt.
In the video, you see one of the young men shove a gun in Janae's face. Not long after, the second young man comes around to her door and violently throws her to the ground.
And being that aggressive for me, and that's when I realized that they might be willing to hurt me.
Janae says she ran inside for help and the suspects ran off, only taking 2 cell phones. Janae says she made eye contact with the men while walking inside the gas station and says that's when she feels they decided to target her.
So she made eye contact with these guys when these guys were standing out front of the store. It's just like in the Harlem incident. These guys poop where they play all the time. You're never safe with people like that. These guys been hanging out in front of the gas station. That's their hangout spot. That's probably where they hang out every day. And they would rob somebody there violently. Just like in Harlem. Just like the situation in Harlem. This their hangout at the store. At the gas station. You think you can pump your gas. She lucky they didn't take her car. They got spooked. But she was online with all the wokey woke stuff. And if one of these guys had a situation with a cop, and before they had crossed paths with her, she would have been online talking about how we got to get rid of the police, and we need social workers, and we safer without police. They never 400 years they ain't never respected us, and all this woke gibberish. And now she's in it with these guys, and she's terrified. She's scared. She's demure. She needs protection. All that woke stuff goes out of the window. When you walk into the store and you see these guys, you make eye contact with them, and then you come out and they crouch down, and you like, where they at? She came on, she was like, where they at? You want to know where they at? They crouch down behind your car, waiting for you to get in so they can hop out of nowhere and rob you. That's where they're at.
Being that aggressive for me, and that's when I realized that they might be willing to hurt me.
Janae says she ran inside for help and the suspects ran off, only taking 2 cell phones. Janae says she made eye contact with the men while walking inside the gas station and says that's when she feels they decided to target her.
I couldn't believe that I almost lost my life to 2 phones. I don't feel comfortable anywhere knowing they're still out there. I feel like they've seen my face way too clearly, and I don't feel like they feel like their job is done, so I don't feel safe.
Now, Janae does believe that they were after her car as well, but she did have her key fob around her neck, meaning they only got away with those 2 phones. She hopes someone out there can identify them to get these violent criminals off the street. Live in Atlanta, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
We do hope they are caught soon. Jamie, thank you.
And this sister who was, assaulted at this gas station, this is how she looked without the mask. Very, very beautiful young sister. Went to Spelman, of course, HBCU. Very active on campus. Very, very known person. She wasn't like, she ain't no square. Seemed like a very nice chick. Very, very nice chick. Very beautiful. Just sad, man. Like, that, the Kangs did her like this, man. God, dog. Over some cell phones. Cuz? You're not safe, man. You're not safe out here, man. Some people always plotting, and it's not the police. And now she's, working hand in hand with the police to, find these 2 guys who ended up doing this to her. I wish her the best of luck. I hope, she said she's scared. She said she's terrified that they gonna come back and get her. She doesn't feel like they finished their job. Plus they have her cell phone, so they have all her information. So she has a right to be afraid. And it's very interesting that, now she's working hand in hand with police, sister, and listen, being woke is cool and all. It gets you a lot of followers, hashtags. They killing us. How many more? Is my son next? And all that, all those gibberish hashtags these sisters be putting out there. Rihanna, say her name and all this. To say, who gonna say your name? Huh? Who gonna say your name? Janae ask you. Who gonna say Janae ask you? Huh? Is anybody gonna say Janae ask you? Okay, guys, make sure you hit that like button when you come in. Make sure you share these videos on your Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't. And most importantly, take that $5 challenge via PayPal or via the Cash App. And if you're watching this as Premiere, take the challenge via the Super Chat as well. Let's get into it.
Fayetteville police say the city's latest shooting victim was found dead in a neighbor's yard this morning after being shot last night. The shooting happened on Blockade Runner Drive. CBS 17's Kayla Strayer is live in Fayetteville with a look at what happened to this 19-year-old. Kayla.
Yeah, so I spoke with the victim's father outside of his home tonight. He's still in shock, just trying to process everything that happened to his son last night. Police say he was shot in the street and his body was found this morning. The father does want to say he does appreciate the community's kind thoughts and their prayers tonight. The Fayetteville Police Forensic Unit on scene this morning outside Blockade Runner Drive, taking pictures where the city's latest shooting happened and looking for evidence. Sergeant Jeremy Glass says neighbors called 911 around 8 last night.
We received calls of shots fired in the area. Officers came, they spoke to several neighbors. They looked for any victims, any witnesses. They could not locate anything.
It wasn't until this morning that the body of 19-year-old Sadidrian Whitlock was found in this yard about 3 blocks away along Bargemaster Drive. Homeowner James Champagne woke up to the sound of screams this morning.
I heard a bunch of screaming and crying outside, so I looked out my window and I saw the neighbors out there, and I came out there and I looked and I saw the young man laying on the grave.
Police say Whitlock almost made it home after he was shot last night, but died after collapsing in his next-door neighbor's yard.
I believe because he made it so far and where he collapsed behind that fence, it made it hard for basically anyone to notice him until this morning.
I just want people to know that he was a good man. He was a nice young man.
He's a community member. 3 streets from me. Our families are close.
Neighbor and Fayetteville City Councilman Christopher Davis says he'll be talking with other leaders today about ways to stop violence in the city.
We've got to do a better job as a community, not just police, as a community of protecting our youth and protecting our community.
Look at this neighborhood. The houses, these houses are not connected. There's a ton of space between each house. This is definitely the suburbs. It's or not a gated community, but a residential upper middle class. This is where you go to hide, to get away from all that crap. These are the wokest people in the planet, in the black community. These are the ones that are always talking about police brutality, always talking about the white man. But they've gone here to get away from this crap, and it's come to their front door, and it seems to be happening all the time. This just does not look like the type of neighborhood where they would be shooting. Show me a neighborhood of another race of people living in this type of neighborhood where it's so much crime that we gotta band together to try to stop the crime.
I just want people to know that he was a good man. He was a nice young man.
He's a community member. 3 streets from me. Our families are close.
Neighbor and Fayetteville City Councilman Christopher Davis says he'll be talking with other leaders today about ways to stop violence in the city.
We've got to do a better job as a community, not just police, as a community of protecting our youth and protecting our community. It's a sad thing that brought us together, but let's work in order to get this fixed.
Police say they do not think that this shooting was random. They have not released any suspect information yet. Reporting live in Fayetteville, Kayla Strayer.